Imagine being able to generate unlimited amounts of content without even lifting a finger. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do just that. So whether it's for social media, for announcing a new product launch, new real estate listings, or even onboarding a new client or a new hire, this tool can do it all. The tool is called Shotstack. So you might already be familiar with JSON to video, or maybe not, but this tool, in my opinion, is an absolute game changer. So if you're ready to dive in, grab your coffee or your drink of choice and meet me at the computer. So here we are at the computer, and this is my just a Google sheet that I have with all of these different columns. This information was actually generated by ChatGPT. So what we have is topic, narrative, image prompt. That's all going to be fed into Shotstack. We've got YouTube and Instagram captions for posting to social media. And again, this is all just generated by ChatGPT. And I also like to include some background music. So this, I'm going to show you a little trick to this. This other website called Free to Use. It's free music videos for music for video creators. And we can see here all of these different kind of vibes and genres, etc. But if you scroll down, there's a bunch of free music. So we can take a listen.
Can't hear the words you're telling me. Guess I'm not.
So now that wouldn't work for me because it has lyrics to it, but you know, so I found one. It's this pink clouds. I really like it. So I'm going to use this for the background. You can just download it as you would anything else. But just make sure that you're copying the attribution, because it does say attribution is required to use this. So you can copy this over, which I did already have in my Google Sheet. But now let's go over to Shotstack. Let's get going. So there's a lot of information. We'll go through this briefly, but here's a demo video from Shotstack.
You want to build a video app that changes the world, but you lack the tools you need. Developing a video application is complex.
So you could create a video like this if you want, if this makes sense for your products or for your audience, right? I'm doing something that's based for my Podorable Finds. But here's the pricing. If you have a pay-as-you-go, it's a one-time $75, but you can start for free. This is the kind of the nice thing. All of the plans include, like, how much is included in this is unbelievable. And it's better than, I think, any of the other products that I have researched on the market so far, at least to date. But you get, it's not a whole lot different other than how many videos you can produce based on the different pricing, which I think is fair. You're still getting more or less the same quality, which is really rare in this kind of case. Now, if you're creating shorts that are like 15 seconds long, that's 4 shorts for 1 minute. So it's a nickel a video. It's worth my time, honestly. Now in the main menu here, you can see my templates. There's a template gallery, but there's a lot of other things here, but we're just go in the upper left hand corner, my templates, and you can create a new one. So this is mobile videos you can create for TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. Like, there's so many different formats, but we're going to try this. Now sometimes this happens, right, where it gets a little bit finicky. It didn't actually do that mobile kind of sizing. So if you go into your settings here, you can change the height, the width, all of those elements. One thing I did find is that if you do the standard 1080p by 1080 by 1290 or whatever it is, that sometimes that makes the file too big to download or to render. So I actually had to bring that down to the next sizing level, but honestly, it did not compromise on quality whatsoever. So that's pretty much it for that. So now you've got your sizing okay, but if you look in the AI section, you can do image to video, text to image, or text to speech. And so we're going to be using the text to speech and text to image. So right here, what we're going to do, we've got our captions. So I've just clicked on a captions on the left hand side here, and we're going to create automated captions based on the audio. The audio is going to be based on the information that was in the Google Sheet, if you remember. But in order to do this, we've got to link it all up. And so that's alias. We need to call the audio an alias, and then we select the alias. This is how we link it together, these two pieces. As far as the captions, you can change all kinds of different elements here. You can change the font, the size, the color. So I'm going to use Roboto Black. It's a pretty basic, easy looking font for what I'm looking for. I'm going to change 35 is probably too small. I can make this a little bit bigger. And of course, you can zoom in on this, by the way. So if you want to get a closer look to how this would look in real life or live. So there we go. I think that's a pretty good size. The background, if you wanted to add a background, you just, choose your RGB colors. You can do your dropper. And of course, if you want to, instead of having just a black background, you can change the transparency. So again, if you're familiar with using tools like Canva, a lot of this will just come to you intuitively. Or if you're used to using other video editors, a lot of these elements will just sort of come to you intuitively. That's what I found anyway. So there we go. Now this layer is the captions. Okay, and now we're good. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our next layer, which is going to be a logo. So we want to make sure that this is branded appropriately. And so I'm going to use this almost like a watermark, as it were, So I just have to take my logo and I'm going to add that in. It takes a second, just like anything else. But that you're going to see in the tray here, just below the video, is adding this new layer. And in a second it will populate. You'll see what it looks like. There we go. It's trying to fill the whole space. But again, like anything else, you can change the size. Right, so you can downsize this here. I want to make sure it's contained within a box, and you've got your X's and your Y's. So so your Y will go up and down, your X will go across. So where do you want to position it? That's what this is all about: is positioning your logo where it makes sense for you on your video. So if you want it in the bottom right-hand corner or the upper right-hand corner. And then we want to make sure that we're changing the timing on this. So next we're going to go into the AI text to speech, which is pretty fun. So when we're in the text to speech, this is something that, now you're going to see these double curly brackets. This is a really important thing as well. The double curly brackets acts as like a token for almost like a mail merge. If you're familiar with that concept of a mail merge, so whatever's in there is going to merge whatever you label as a name or a narrative or whatever. It will merge those two fields together, right? So because we're going to have this as a merge field and it's just going to be the text that we want, or the narrative that we want to have produced by AI, I'm just going to type in narrative between the double curly brackets and then remove all of the rest, because this is not going to say like, hi, name. Like that would be a good use case if it was an onboarding video, for example, or if it was for a specific client. Now these merge fields, we're going to name them something. Now keep an eye on the box to the left. So now we're going to call this narrative. So see, it says, hi, name, welcome to company. No. Narrative. But once we put in the double curly brackets, it's going to know automatically what to put there. So double click curly brackets, and I'm going to say narrative. So this was a column in our Google Sheet again. Boom. Oh, I better put a space before narrative here. Space. There. And see, it's right in that box again. So then we want to make sure that this saves. So basically that is going to merge those fields together. Now you can change the voice with all the various different accents, and there's hundreds, honest to goodness. So whatever you're thinking of, I'm going to use a male voice because the vision here is that it's going to be thoughts from a dog, right? So I don't know, for some reason, and my dog is a male, my last dog was female. He's actually my first male dog, but I'm just thinking my dog is probably going to sound like a Joey. But you can listen to all of the different voices and choose for yourself as you get a little bit more sophisticated. Then this is just a fun little social media project. Now, of course, with the alias down here, remember we talked about aliases before. My narrative. It's just, that's what we're going to call it, my narrative. So we want to link this to our captions, because our captions are going to be based on whatever the AI voice is saying. So now if we can just click on captions right on the thing here and see, we can select alias. If you click on that, boom, it's the only alias that's available. It's the only one we created. And then it will automate the captions based on what is being said. So it can be very dynamic. Okay, so now this is going to be the text to image. It's the same thing. This is the information that's being fed from our Google Sheet. So we're going to go through this whole exercise again, but just for the image. I'm not creating a video or several images, but you can create several different images based on timing or whatever. But for me, I'm just going to say, like, that's the image, right? Image prompt. That's what's going to go there. Now, I don't actually have to type it there because we're going to do our merge field again. So we definitely want to make sure you can see there it says my narrative as the alias. We've got our caption, but now we're going to have our image prompt. So now what we're going to do is we're going to upload our music. So we're going to add media because we want to have a layer for our music. So what we can do is go back into we could link it. We have put a link. You could upload or put a link. So we got to paste the URL there. So we're going to go back into the Google Sheet because that's where I actually have it. If I can find the Google Sheet. There we go. So it's right here, the background music. Now you can also, if you had different music backgrounds, right? You could, in theory, have that for each video, a different music. So I'm just going to paste the URL here. Boop, and then upload. As soon as it lets me. And it's fetching it, just like that. Easy breezy. And there's the audio file, if you can see it there. And then you can just drag, click on it, and then that'll just automatically add it to the video, which is really great. Now you can click an auto. In fact, I think that these have to go to end, but anyway, we can give this a quick play as well.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder. The final voiceover will be generated when rendered.
So this is not the voice that I chose, and it's really just like I said, it's a placeholder. But from here, what you can do is you can change the volume as well, because if you want, I don't want the volume to be of the music to be at the same level as the volume of the voice, right? So these are just some of the things that you can change, and then you can test out, like, how does it sound now that it's a lower volume? So we just have to drag this back. There it is. There's the red pointer, and we can just drag this back. And it's very similar to if you were to work in like a Canva or whatever, again, right? It's all kind of the same. Some of it can be a little finicky to work with, and maybe it's just the operator. But we can give this another playthrough.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder.
It's much softer. Much softer. So that's what you can do to kind of change all of these different elements as well. You can make it even softer if you want, because I just wanted it to be a little light background music.
This is a text-to-speech placeholder.
Even better.
The final voice.
Right, so you can just kind of play around with it like this, like you would with most other things. There we go. And you can see there's the audio layer. We've got our narrative, so that's the voice over. We've got our watermark there. We've got the captions there. So the only thing is the image, which I think I forgot to put the merge field in for. There we go. We're going to bring this all the way back just because it's kind of my OCD. So here we go. That's the caption, or there's the image prompt right there. So I didn't create the merge field. So pardon me for that. We've got to make sure we've got all of that in there. So what you could do, you just add a merge field. You could have so many merge fields in here, right? You could just imagine all of the different things that you could merge. Like, so this could be company names, so different companies, different client names, different whatever it is. So here, this is going to be the image prompt. So we can call it my underscore image. And then here we'll do, again, our double curly brackets and then the image underscore prompt. All right, so that we just want to make sure that that is, I'll call it a little I, image prompt. And we're going to see this when we move over to make.com, how this all links together as well. So there we've got our image prompt merge field, right? So we definitely want to make sure that all of these merge fields are as accurate as we can get, because again, like I said, we're going to go into make.com and make this happen and make this automated. And that's how we automate it. So now that we've got to make sure we've got all of our layers. Now I did in here the first time around, I've done this as auto end. In fact, I've had to go back to this and change it to end. Anyway, so at the top left, you definitely want to name your template. So I'm just going to call it dog thoughts video template. And then I can save this. So then it's just easier to find, right? Instead of having a bunch of like untitled and like a weird long number or something, I would never know what it is. You might. Now from here you can go back into your Shotstack main menu and see there it is, your dog thoughts video template. So you can click on it, you're back in here, here's your template. Another quick thing you can do is in the center here you can see connect. So you can connect to all of these different things. So connect to your Google Drive, you can connect it to TikTok, and it will automatically post to TikTok. It won't go live in TikTok, but what it will do is it'll post to your drafts. So in your Google Drive, you just add your credentials, and just as if you were signing into Google at all, right? Like say from a new browser, you just, put in your password, etc. Like you select your account, put in your password, and then you say yes, you're allowing them to have access to your account, and that's it. Now you're connected. That's it. TikTok, you can kind of do the same thing. I've already connected that, but it's really, you just have to log in. You don't need to have the developer APIs or anything like that. It just automatically goes. So now we're going to create a new scenario in make.com. Now the scenario, I've already created it, so for the interest of time, I'm just showing you this gnarly workflow. I know it looks gnarly, but we're going to go through this each step of the way. Now you're going to see I have Google Drive and Dropbox because for some reason the Google Drive to social media did not work for me. So I'm going to start, of course, with my increment function. The tools, just set it to never because then we can have it go one at a time. And this is a bit important as well because it's going to be linked in a later module. So here we go. We've got our Google Sheet. So we want to make sure that we're linking this Google Sheet here. So we want to search for rows because it's that information, right? So we're going to just search rows so that we've got it. So we've got the dog thoughts. It's that sheet name. I'm going to say from A to Z because I'm Canadian. We're going to order by the number ascending, and of course the field type is number because I'm ordering it by number, not by row. And then the Shotstack. Now you're going to want to make sure that you add your connection here, but it is pretty simple to add your connection to Shotstack. What's really nice is that it already is in there. But what you do is when you're in Shotstack, you'll see this API keys. You're going to have sandbox or production. So long as your template is in production, you want to save it to production. When you're saving your template, there you go. You'll have your API key. So you add that in here. It's that simple. That's where you find it. And remember, those merge fields showed narrative and everything else. That's where you put those in, right? Those merge fields that we created in double curly brackets. We're going to go into the tools. We're going to give this a minute or two, actually 2 minutes, to render, because it's not going to be completely instant. It's going to take it usually takes about 30 seconds to render. So then what we're going to do is get a render status. Right, so we want to see, like, okay, making sure that it actually did render before we move on to just posting it. So now what I've done is I've put in a router. So depending on what this router or the render status is, it will go to these different things. So if it fails, it's just going to go to this Google sheet. So there you go. There's filters. You can see the little filters on the thing. But if it fails, it's going to go to the Google sheet to say it failed. If it's still in progress, we're going to put another delay on this. So we've got another sleep module, but this is 300 seconds, so 5 minutes. And then we're going to get the render status again. And then we're going to go to the router again to say, well, if it fails, or if it's in progress still, I feel like that's a failure, it's going to update the row just to say that it's going to update the sheet to show that there was a fail status. But if it passes, then it's going to go through the typical kind of posting strategy. So that's kind of it. But this is where the filters are. You right click on these like kind of connections and click on set up a filter. And that's how you set up your filters, depending on what this router or what that status is, the render status. So I'm going to zoom all the way back out again. And this is if it passes, if it renders. So that's if it's still waiting, that's if it fails. But now let's say, okay, we got the render status back and it's done, which is great. So what I've had to do is go from Google Drive to Dropbox. Like I said, in order to go from Google Drive or Dropbox into Instagram, you need to have a share link. And for YouTube, it needs the actual file. So in Google Drive, what we're going to see once it renders, the video should go here. But for some reason, it would not go directly to Instagram or YouTube. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the file. Then we're going to update that file. So in here, we're going to search our drive, right? Just my drive. And what it's going to do is just look to see if there's something that's in there. And right now we only see folders. No files are in there, right? That's what we just looked at. Okay. Then we're going to update a file. So as soon as there's a file in there, we're going to update that. Right? So the file ID is going to come from the Google Drive module we just looked at. And the new file name is going to come from our increment, right? The very first module. Next, we're going to download the file. We have to download it so that we just get the file ID again from the previous Google Drive module. We have to download it in order to upload it to Dropbox. I know it seems a little much, but trust me, unless you can get it to work from Google Drive, I could not. So anyway, in Dropbox, I've got this folder and it's just going to map from this previous Google Drive. So here is my Dropbox folder. There's already a couple of videos in there. You can see them, 1, 2, and that's it. Now we're going to create a share link, which is what we need for Instagram. So the file path is linked to the previous Google Drive module here. Link access, max access, that's all you really need. And we're going to click OK, and that's going to go to Instagram. And then we're going to download a file, which is what we need to do for YouTube. So we're going to map a file path, and it's going to be the folder ID from our share link. So they all link together. There we go. Now I've got a router because one is going to go to Instagram, one is going to go to YouTube. Now after YouTube, which is the last thing it does, it's going to move that folder, that file in the Google Drive main. It's going to put it into a subfolder. So here we go. The Instagram caption, that's going to come from the Excel file from the really early on in our scenario. And of course, that's going to be the share link from Dropbox. The YouTube, we've got that Dropbox downloaded file is the file. The topic comes from, again, the Excel file at the beginning of our scenario, as well as the caption. And then, like I said, we're going to move the folder or the file from the main folder to a subfolder. So we just want to put that, like I said, to the subfolder because we want to get rid of it. Now here we are. This is the Google Drive. We want to put it into the subfolder, right? We want to move that because the next time it runs, it'll go into the main folder here, right? The main drive right here. So that's where it's going to end up moving to at the end. There, and that's basically it. And I know it seems like a lot, but it's, when you think about it, there is a flow to it. And it does look kind of gnarly, but it's not too scary. So here we are in my YouTube studio. You can see some of my the recent shorts that I've done with this template already. Compared with some of the previous ones, I had one that kind of went over 400, but these have been performing on average much better than my other shorts. Now we've also got a few that were here as well in my Instagram, but I'm going to click a quick refresh so you can see this is as current as you can get, because we're going to run this scenario in real time. Okay, so here we are. We're going to click save. You want to definitely make sure you've renamed it too, by the way, up in the upper left hand corner. And now we're going to click a run. So it shoots over, like it's shot over through Shotstack and everything. And now we're going through our 2-minute delay, right? So with the magic of video, I'm just going to fast forward our 2 minutes as well, but it really doesn't take that long. But if we go into, look, there it is, and see how it's that really weird long name. I could actually review it from here, but for some reason it just won't go into my socials. So, but once we get from the Google Drive, we're going to rename it, right? And we'll see how that looks as well. But we just saw the video in there with that long weird, and there's nothing in here right now either. Okay, so we're just going to let this 2-minute timer kind of go through as well. It's exciting. There we go. And it's just flipped through. So we're going to go into, oh, it goes so fast. So there, see, it's now renamed to 3. Oh, and it's just popped into here. So you can see that's number 3. I'm trying to catch up with it. I can't pause the workflow as it's moving, but we can just wait for it to go through. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Wait for it to go through to Instagram for business. I find that this one does take a little while, but it does for every single scenario that I run. I do find that Instagram for business can take a little longer. It has to think about it, and I'm cool with that. It's really not that long. And there we go. So now we can run over, oh, YouTube was a second, wasn't it? And then it's moved the file. So let's go check out our handiwork, shall we? Okay, so it's gone from there. We go to, there it is, right? So it's moved it as much as we expected it to. Now here, I'm going to click a refresh. In a second, and there it is. It's like it's actually, there we go. It takes a second to show. 0 views, obviously, because it's just there. And how much I love my mom.
I love my mom so much. Like sometimes I just sit there staring at her hoping she notices. And she's like, "Why are you being weird?" But come on, Mom, I'm just showing love in my own awkward way.
So cute. And there you go. So now we're going to go over to Instagram and see what happens. Let's do this as a quick refresh. And there it is. It's the same video. See? Let's open it up. Mine opens on mute. So yeah, that's 1 minute ago. I'm going to like it. Why not?
She's like, why are you being weird? But come on, Mom, I'm just showing love in my own awkward way.
Here we go. So there you have it. There are so many use cases for this type of system that just will completely generate on autopilot all kinds of pieces of content as frequently or as infrequently as you need it. Of course, you can generate as many different types of templates that you want as well. The only thing that you need to make sure that you're updating is, of course, your whether it's a Google Sheet or an Airtable. That's pretty much it. You could even create your trigger to be something like a Slack channel or something like that, or even an email input. So there are so many different use cases for this tool. I hope you found this video really helpful. If you did, please remember to hit that subscribe button and the like button. It truly does help my channel. And if you do like content like this, don't forget the little bell icon so you don't miss another video. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see all of the great content that you end up creating with Shotstack. Feel free to tag me in it as well. Until next time, happy prompting.